Yo. What's up, wise guy? How you doing, honey? Like, I got some shit to fucking say, bros. I got some fucking shit to say. 'Cause, you know, let's just say the stuff I'm going through right now, the stuff my sons are going through right now, the stuff that Jason is going through right now, like my family's all fucking fucked up, jumbled up. Not even that, but Gavin too. That cat is so fucking depressed right now. He's been waiting at the front door, sleeping by it for days, or for 2 days now, you know? He hasn't slept. He misses the fuck out of Jason. So I'm dealing with a depressed ass fucking cat too. You know? Everybody missing each other. Everybody wanting to be healthy mentally. Yo. So, get this shit. I get a motherfucking email, right? I'm about to expose the motherfucker, right? I get a freaking email. And this email is from Real Stream News. In this email, he asked me to exploit my situation for $300. And I decided, I usually don't email people back when they do shit like that, but I decided to email back. And I told him to fuck off. I told him, I don't exploit motherfuckers like you do. It's fucking disgusting. You know? These people are fucking heartless. Straightforward. These drama whores. They're fucking heartless, bros. Fucking heartless. Like, you would think they would have the capacity to fucking understand, to allow a family to process things and go through things and to figure things out, you know, to lower emotions and just, you know, work things out amongst each other the way it needs to be. You would think they'd realize that, you know, when it comes to family tragedies, you allow the people to go through it while supporting them at the same time. That motherfucker, he emails me back and says he's my friend. Really? 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 Yeah, and I do it by blocking your ass. How about that? So, like, I don't, like, fuck that shit, man. I ain't dealing with people's shit today. I don't got the patience. You know. Fuck. Like, it's so gross for people who want to exploit others' tragedies. It's so gross. Like, $300, really? How much are you actually making? That's the question. I definitely know with your views, with your super chats you get, you definitely are getting way more than $300 for it. Like, I bet it's not even 5% of what you're actually gonna make if I actually did the video, right? Like, I don't know. But it's like, I'm asking people right now to, like, give me and my family privacy so we can process shit, so we can allow our emotions and thoughts to become clear and logical. Because I'll straight up say this. Yesterday, I couldn't think correctly. I couldn't function. I was depressed. I was crying. You know, there was no logic. No logical thinking at all. None. It was pure emotion. Pure, not even pure emotion, but more importantly, pure heightened emotion. You know? And I know when I'm in an emotional, heightened state, that's not a time to make any decisions. That is not a time to make any actions. It is a time to sit, to process what you're going through. And, like, seriously, it's like people nowadays, they don't even understand what it's like to go through shit, man. Thank you, Crash. Thank you. Like, don't even understand. A lot of people don't understand, like, mental illness and how it affects people. Like, and a lot of people don't understand how families can stay together regardless of mental illness. Like, they just think just because you have mental illness, you have to abandon someone or hate them for it, or, you know, just put all the stigmas on all this fucking shit. And it's like, dude, that's not real life. That's not reality. Reality is if a family member of yours is sick, regardless of what fucking happened, you help them. You help them. You know? You make your family member, if they have acted in bad behavior, you make them realize they acted in bad behavior. Sometimes, like, I'll be honest, sometimes jail is necessary to correct bad behavior, because, like, they go to jail, they have to go to the court system, and they're forced to get the help that they need compared to just sitting on it, you know? So I'm glad this happened in a lot of ways, because now the court's going to force Jason to get better. And he needs to get better, because he's, like, truly, he's not an evil person. He's not. He's just sick. And he's gone through enough. Like, he's gone through a lot. Like, do you honestly, like, think that someone who's dealt with alcoholism and went sober and had to deal with wet brain and all this other stuff, you think they're going to end up, like, mentally well? You think someone who ended up losing his mother and ended up 5 years as pretty much a hermit, not talking to anyone, not communicating with anyone, do you think they would be normal? Like, nah, man. If you hermit yourself and isolate yourself, you lose the ability of how to communicate correctly with your fellow man, and how to deal with that. You know, this is like real life fucking shit, dudes. Like, this is psychology. This is how you fucking deal with shit in the real world. You know, you don't, like, man. And not only that, it's like, motherfuckers nowadays, they can't even, like, empathize. They can't even put themselves in someone's shoes and be like, well, if I was in that situation, how would I fucking feel? You know, if you were in my situation, how would you fucking feel? Like, do you have, like, human beings, do you have the ability to put yourself in my shoes and actually empathize? Do you? That's what I'm truly wondering, because I think it's a sad state of affairs in this world when people can't fucking do that, and people can't seem to fucking think and correlate. Maybe a family needs time to think things over. Maybe a family needs time to mourn and to grieve and to process everything that's happened. You know? Maybe that would be good. You know? And see the real people come out. Like I said, like, thank you for showing me your true colors. Because I don't want you in my life if you're going to fucking judge me. And you're going to fuck everything, and you're going to judge everything that's going on. You know? Because you don't fucking know what's going on. You don't even know how they fucking feel either. That's the thing. That's the thing. You don't know how anyone feels. Like people act like they haven't gone through shit before, and I guarantee if you've gone through shit, you'd actually do things properly and doing things what's best for everyone compared to what's best for you. You know? I'm trying to care for everyone right now and trying to do everything I can, you know. I'm a single mom doing the best I can right now. You know, and I'm asking for people to stop assuming shit, for people to stop putting rumors out. I'm asking people to respect me and my children and allow us to grieve and process shit. That's what I'm truly fucking asking. I'm asking people to stop trying to, like, send me offers and fucking money to, like, exploit my family. I didn't say what I said to exploit my family. I said what I said because I know it would get out there, and I'd rather have control over of the situation than have others exploited. But see, they jump on like little frickin' hyenas onto a gazelle and just constantly laugh and poke and bite, thinking it's all funny and grand, like it's a big fucking joke. But it's like, this is life. This is life, and I'm gonna be protector mama here. And ask people to stop exploiting my life and my children's life. That's what I'm gonna do. You know? Like, you motherfuckers out there, you want to say, I empathize for your children, I feel bad for your children. Really? Then why are you trying to exploit their situation if you actually cared for them? If you cared for my children, why are you constantly trying to stop their mother from making money so she can support them, and try to put wedges and like relationships to damage them? Like, if you actually cared for my boys, like, seriously, if you actually fucking cared for my sons, you wouldn't make their life into a living fucking joke. Seriously. Like, you think I'm fucking dumb? Like, here's the thing with Real Stream News, you know, he can say whatever the fuck he wants, and he goes ahead and says, I'm your friend. No, you fucking aren't my friend. You know why you aren't my fucking friend? Because usually when someone goes through a tragedy, the first thing that usually doesn't come out of their mouth is, I want to make you an offer. Okay, Mr. Godfather, Mr. Mafioso. Now, usually if someone truly is your friend, and cares for you, the first thing they say when they know you're going through a tragedy is, "Are you okay?" They don't offer money. They don't try to exploit the situation. They're just like, "Are you okay? Is your son's okay? How are you? Like, how are you processing? What's going on?" That's what friends do. That's what friends do. Not offer them $300 to exploit a horrible situation that shouldn't have happened because of mental health. You know, and I'm proud of my sons that they can recognize the difference between someone having a mental health crisis and actually being vicious and malicious. You motherfuckers can't. I guarantee you can't distinguish the two like two young men can. You can't. Because you're too busy being angry all the time. You're too busy trying to poke holes in a situation and exploit it. And try to make it bigger than what it is and deeper than what it is. Straightforward. Straightforward. You know? You want to try to look like a good guy? How are you a good guy if you're going to fucking exploit a family when they're going through a tragedy? How? I don't know. I haven't looked into anything of that. So, whatever. I'm playing shit by ear. I'm playing shit by ear. And that motherfucker better not fucking have fucking, like, emailed me again. Because I'm fucking done with him. Like, he, like, these people, they don't even know how to fucking respect people. Like, these motherfucking people, they can't fucking respect people. They can't respect people's, like, privacy or anything like that. Yeah, keep listening to dumbasses over the internet. Like, so fucking dumb. I told you when it happened. You can go believe what they fucking try to fucking lie about. Yo. Fucking idiots. Like, you ain't exploiting my situation, and you don't have a right to ask fucking questions, and especially when those questions revolve about a lie, you'll be blocked really quick. I don't need you in my life. I have no need for you in my life. Just remember that. Just remember that. Like, you can go believe fucking lies. I told you when shit happened. You can go believe the false documents that you're shown. But, like, the dude hasn't even been arraigned yet. Like, idiots. Fucking morons. Like, go ahead, walk in your little naivety. You know, be naive. Like, you go, like, and seriously, you're really showing your ass by saying, "Oh, we looked at the documents and stuff like that." Like, you really showing your ass. So, like, you're that fucking crazy that you're, like, pulling up documents and shit, but they're not even real. That's the crazy shit. They're not even fucking real. So you're just being naive, listening to liars trying to exploit a situation, and that's okay, too. Because I really don't fucking care. It's none of my fucking business at the end of the day. You know? Believe what you fucking want. You can go believe in a delusional lie. That's you, not me. I'm living in my reality. Thank you very much. Which is the real reality, not some skewed up version for, you know, clicks and views. Yeah. You really wanted the truth from someone, you shouldn't have opened your fucking mouth. That's the truth of it. You shouldn't have opened your mouth and spit out fucking lies, because you'll be blocked real quick. Tell me a lie, I'll block you. True, Kaylee, true. But I don't think he said anything, dude. I really don't. Hello, Darlene, my beautiful cousin. I love you so much. Like, we need to talk, girl. Like, seriously, we need to talk. Like, family to family. You know, because I'm going through shit right now. I'm going through shit. You know? And if you want to be mean to my cousin Darlene, you can kiss my ass. And if you want to stalk my cousin Darlene, I will fuck you up. Just know that. You know? Don't do anything to my cousin Darlene. We family, and we family strong. Forever. You know? You know? We got that Italian blood, that feisty southern Italian right on the boot heel, Barry, Italy fire, man. Don't mess with us. Like, you don't want to piss off an Italian family. You don't. Especially my Italian family. Because we got each other's backs. Know that. Know that. Hi, beautiful Carrie. How are you? Like, I got people who support me. I got people who put things in perspective for me, you know? Like, period. And I don't care what your little judgments are. I don't care if you try to come for me. Make me look like I'm some evil, diabolical character. I just don't give a fuck anymore. Not to the trolls, I mean to the officers, his legal aid, loyalty, etc. They always try shit. They can go fucking try shit all they want. I'm just, like, seriously. I'm just trying to do the right thing. You know, and not only the right thing, but the best thing. Like, I'm just trying to get through life. You know, the best I can. The best I can. I'm just like I know like, seriously, like, I've done stupid ass shit. I've done shit. I've gone to jail twice. Twice. You know? Gone through this shit. Dark Iver sent a request to be on live video. Alright, Dark Iver. Alright, let's see if you come on. But, hey, dude.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm going through it, but, you know, I'm strong. I'll say that.
Well, I just wanted to come in and say hi and check on you and say I got your back. Like I said, you need to let him know about the grace of God. That's the only reason why you ain't let the demons loose.
That's right. That's right. Like, it's like, fuck it. I'm done. I'm done with these stupid characters trying to fucking exploit me and my family like that, man.
It's been a while, right? And the funny thing is, the only reason why you even know that you existed is because your haters did these exposés, which basically I think you need to get a lawyer and sue because there's whole channels dedicated to just talking shit about you. And in any other circumstance, that would be like defamation of character, if not no less. If they're making money off of YouTube, off of basically taking your image and talking shit about it, you should be getting paid for it.
Amen.
And like I said, the only reason why I noticed that you existed is because they were hating on you. I'm like, okay, let me go check this out. And I'm a fanboy for Pretty Girl, so I was just like, okay, I don't know what they bitching about, but whatever. And
Yeah.
And I said I became a fan. We've talked, and I'm like, you're like non-judgmental. Before dipshit lost his mind, he was cool too, and really, there's been no drama. And like, it just amazes me the level of dedication they have put into just giving you crap. Like, I've seen live streams of them just talking shit with videos of you playing in the background. I think they want to all tag you personally because that's the only thing I can think of for this much obsession over one person.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like them preachers that they're talking about, like they hate gay people and all this here, and then you come to find out that they're actually gay afterwards. They just like in the closet, set the closet on fire. It's one person I heard on TikTok trying to burn everyone and themselves at the same time because they can't admit the truth. Because it doesn't make any sense, the level of BS and like hours. I mean, I've seen over 50 plus videos and some like playlists of them just talking shit,
Yep.
exposés, and this and that and the third. And it's not like at this point you should have your own reality TV show because as much as they like to talk shit and do all these things, you might well just get some form of payment. I say you get a lawyer and sue the hell out of everybody.
Oh, that's in the works. Don't worry about that. That's in the works. You know, that's why I'm letting them, you know, talk shit.
Because
Let's just be honest.
after a while, it's like cyber stalking, which is now technically a crime, and it's like makes no sense. I guess the only benefit is that you get more people to check you out because they're giving you so much foot traffic. They're like
Yeah.
your own private PR team.
Yeah, and not only that, this is what their stupid shit is. This is how fucking dumb they are. They're trying they like pulled up this like false document claiming that Jason got arrested on June 4th. No, he didn't.
And
Um
why do they? The thing is, why do they even care?
like
Like,
I like here's the thing. I don't know why me changing the date would be like why would I change it? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like why would I say it happened this time and like when it's really another time? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
now, and the thing is like they sit up here and they do all this right, and what they don't know and what they don't understanding is people are going to be naturally curious to hear about who this person is and everything else. And if they're BBW lovers, they're going to be like, "Oh, she's really cute. I need to see what this is about. Let's see if all the hate is true." And then we watch you and see your streams and everything else, and you're just freaking adorable playing Animal Crossing all that. I'm like, and the makeup. Oh my god, the makeup is on point.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like Carrie made a good comment. Like, how could he have streamed if he was in jail then? Doesn't add up. Yeah, exactly.
Like I
Exactly. And
said,
they're like, why did your son call when it happened 4 days ago? Like, what?
what
What?
the key point is, why does it even fucking matter? What date, whatever happened in your own personal life? It's like, who cares? And even if all the stuff is true, why are you going to highlight this person, right? And let more people know that they exist so other people could potentially be sucked in. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's all, if you don't want if this person like yourself is as evil as everyone says, right? And you're doing all this bad shit, why put it out on the internet that everybody can see and then have people who are going to be naturally curious come to your page? If you don't want anybody, if they have this issue, they would give you less foot traffic. They would do less exposés. They would do everything probably to make sure you don't get any airtime whatsoever.
Exactly. Like, they work way too hard to get people to hate me,
You
for
have
me
a
to be
web
actually hateable.
you actually have, I don't know, I forgot what the name of the site. There's an actual full page dossier on you, on everything you ever done. And I'm sort of like, God damn, they worse than the CIA and NSA. I'm like, all this for one woman? And they do this for like multiple like plus size women. I'm sitting up here like, wow, just wow. Like people need to know these people have gone to the extent to build entire forum pages discussing this one woman and everything that goes on in her life.
Doesn't that seem a little crazy to you? Like, to me, it seems crazy. It
How,
seems
how,
like,
how
how do
it's
you
crazy.
find the time, or why would you dedicate so much time to that shit? Like, I don't understand it.
They
Like,
have
I would
arch
never dedicate
they
my time, like,
they
that
have
much time to someone.
they have literally archived everything in your life.
Hmm.
Everything. And I have looked through it. I'm not gonna lie. There was some plus size, which I want to thank them on that one there. Just made me be more of a bigger fan. And that was basic when I looked at them like, dude, like I don't even I should actually thank them for this because like I would have never have known you if it wasn't for these dipshits.
I know, right? Like, we wouldn't even, like, be friends, like, if it wasn't for that shit. Like, and I'm grateful for you to be in my life because you're an awesome dude.
I,
Like,
I mean, I try. I've been having a lot of pain issues of late in my legs. I don't know if I'm starting to get atrophied in my legs and thighs because they pretty much hurt all the time. I had to go to the doctor yesterday for a Toradol shot, and that knocked me on my ass. And my dog Serby, he's in the bedroom with me at the moment, but I gotta let him out because my friends got diapers for him, but I'm just too tired and too out of it to do anything. Like I got video games out the wazoo. I haven't played any video games. I've done a bunch of debating on TikTok, but that's about it. And I try to keep my social media like stuff down to low because once you start making too much content and you get noticed, I've noticed that everyone gets some form of hate speech and this, that, and the third, and it just becomes like an ongoing battle. So I just stay in the shadows pretty much and just do my thing and then disappear. Like, and they're probably recording this right now, discussing how she got a new fanboy. Yes, I am a fan, and yes, I think she's hot, despite what all y'all fuckers think. So y'all can all fuck off, and they can talk whatever shit they want because I don't really care. And yeah, and pretty soon I know I'll have a dossier on me as well, talking about how she got a new fan and he's a black guy, blah blah blah. And I'm like, go on about your business. My digital footprint is huge because I've been on the internet. I've been on the internet so long that my first password was 3 letters. That's how long I've been on everything. So if they try to track me down, go around the head. I don't even care. My life is too boring for anyone to give two shits about.
yeah, at least you're going to have a little excitement over your life if they try and stalk you and try to take you down. Like, what are they going to say? They're going to say, "How do you know Shanny did this? Did you know Shanny did this?" And it's like, yeah, she told me.
And they're gonna tell me about all the other stuff you've done, and that like I don't know how much you want your fans to know about, but when you decide to do that other site for a hot minute, I was the first one like, I will pay for a fucking year subscription. Shut the fuck up. What? I was literally willing to throw money at the screen. Just take my money. I don't care. And it's like they do free advertisement. You don't have to do shit. You can literally announce tomorrow I'm gonna have this site back up again, and you'll have like probably 200, 300 followers just because they're gonna be talking so much shit about it and everything else that people are gonna be like, okay, what's the bullshit? And the fanboys are gonna come out and be like, oh, oh, here's 6 months. And now you're paid, and I'm just gonna be, and you'll be laughing all the way to the bank, and then you can make a YouTube video. Thank you. I just want to thank all my haters. You have gotten me more fans than not. If you
Mhm.
want to hurt me, stop talking about me. And that's
Yeah,
literally you need to make a YouTube video like literally I have a friend now based upon my haters. My haters got me new friends.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
the fuck? What the fuck?
Thank you, haters, for helping me make friends that actually will love me through and through, and unconditionally. Thank you, haters, for that, for helping people love me unconditionally.
Like, this woman has done nothing wrong. This woman has actually sent me personal videos of just her singing, you know, to me about shit. And I was like, all from a hate video and exposes. I'm treated like the fucking bad. Fuck y'all. Y'all stupid.
Right? Right? That, like, they're naive as shit. Like, they don't realize how good of a time they could have a better time like hanging out with me than those idiots. I guarantee it.
And the thing
At
is,
least I'm not gonna lie to them. You
I've been
know.
knowing this woman for like close to a year now. I've had no drama. I've had no trouble. I've had nothing but good times, interesting conversations, and that's about it. So, yeah, you've actually been counterproductive in your tactics to harass this woman to have no friends and no life.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this. Like, you're awesome, dude. I love you so much.
I do what I can, but yeah, it's funny. Like I've social media has become this cesspool of either trolls and haters and everything else. And what they don't know half the time, they were actually bringing more attention to the person than not. If you really want to be a troll, don't say nothing. Do everything in your power not to give that person any form of limelight. Don't comment on videos. Don't say nothing. Figure out ways, and just ignore. Because once you get out of the public limelight, people forget within like less than a month and they'll move on to something else.
Hmm.
But
Like,
they have,
yeah, exactly.
because they can, if they delete all of their archives right now, right? Delete everything. Delete your whole expose page. No one would know who Shanny is. And you will have less viewers. I'm willing to bet money you have had at least an increase between 25 to 50% more people coming to your page trying to see what the fuck you're about than avoiding you.
Exactly. Exactly. And they just see a woman who just has fun with their lives and not fucking care what other people say about them because it's all lies. Why, seriously, why should I focus on people's lies about me? Like, I know it's not true. I'd rather show people who I am, and I also know if you're going to talk about people behind their back, you must not have like much of a life. You must feel really low about yourself because you're trying to make yourself feel better.
Like I
You
said,
start.
I've never, like I said, I've been on the internet for a long time. I've seen a lot of crazy shit. But between you and that other plus size girl, I don't know what her name is, the one that does a bunch of mukbangs that they make fun of, and she tells very odd stories about her life, like hooking up with a homeless man
Oh,
and this
Foodie Beauty.
yeah, I would ignore someone like that, to be perfectly honest. I mean, like, the last thing I would be doing was spending time basically on someone that is like partially doing being performative because she's figuring it out. She's already did. She already know these people are gonna talk shit about me, right? So the best thing I can do is make it come up with more and more freaking bizarre ass stories to increase my viewership, and then they'll keep talking about me and everything else. And like I said, if there any of the haters are watching, you're counterproductive. You're doing nothing but giving her more views and then increasing her spotlight. Which I want to thank you, because yeah, some of the makeup designs and outfits I have been very happy with. Look at my face. Very happy with. Like stupid happy with. So thank you, haters. You've increased my level of depravity, which is always a good thing. And yeah, fuck off. And if you want to come for me, go ahead. Because see, I have no life. I just play video games. And yeah, and if you do come for me, there's not much you can do to me that I will really care about. Like, it's now 2022. I'm black. I'm bi. I have health issues, and I'm into Norse paganism. That's it. I'm not running for public office any soon, so you can't damage me there. Um, I'm not stupid enough to dox myself, so you ain't got to worry about that there. And yeah, and I don't have an OnlyFans site, so you ain't got nothing on me. And if you did find something, my wife already knows about it and does not care.
There you go.
I'm like that Eminem song. I'm like that Eminem song, like Green Month. Like, okay, so
you
what you
gotta
gonna say
lose
now?
yourself in the moment you want it. You never let it go. You only got one shot. Do not make your chance to blow it, because opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Yeah, so you can't really do much to me. I'm not really worried about you, and your haters are gonna try to make this a big ass deal. Don't. I've already gave you my personal phone number. Blow my phone up if you ever need to talk, and I'll come visit you in lives and bullshit with you. And I have a Switch. I don't have Animal Crossing, but we'll figure out something we can play. I
Oh,
got
I got a
PC.
lot of games. So
I
on the
got
Switch.
a. I only got a couple of games on my Switch. I play Yu-Gi-Oh a lot, like stupidly a lot, because I like Yu-Gi-Oh. I picked up a Zoid kind of like fighter game where I play as one of the Zoids. If you remember that old cartoon show.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm an anime geek, so I saw them like, and it was on sale. Like, I got to get this game. I don't care if it's bad or not. It's freaking Zoids. On point. And then and I got like a crap load of PC games, like over 900 plus games. Not to mention, if you need more PC games, I got a bunch in my thing. And then I'm messing around with photo editing now. If I say I was going to be artistic, I would say I'm messing around with a lot of photo editing and video editing because I got it all on my computer. And I just like make little music anime videos periodically and edit, people photos and put stuff in or, you know, glam them up and, what forth.
You know what's funny?
Usually,
That's actually the first thing I did on social media is the little anime music videos. It's the first thing I used to do.
I want to do one featuring Berserk. I don't know if you ever seen that anime.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I will highly recommend it. If you have any form of traumas, be warned. But Guts, in a lot of ways, remind me of myself. And I had a friend who played the main antagonist, which was Griffith. And the parallels between me and my friendship, even down to spoilers, the betrayal that happened, is pretty much on point. And to this day, I still hate the guy, and my wife knows not to let me into Washington State because they're where he lives at. So I've already made comment. See, the funny thing about Washington State is, and people don't know this, you can have a legal street fight in Washington State. You have to get one police officer to bear witness, and you can have a street fight. I deliberately posted on my Facebook page that article saying I could come up to watch, and I know how he is. He always be spying on folks, so he probably already knows. Homeboy, once he turned on me, he said like, "You have no honor. You have this, that, and third." And I'm like Bushido Samurai is. So when you question that, we have problems. Like I will fight you to the death. So homeboy says this right, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, point. So I ain't got no honor. I'm this, I'm that, and third. So let's go to the field of battle and see which one comes off. At this point, that what he realized, like that, this is what he realized, he fucked up. And then he's like, no, no, you gotta be that way. I'll bring some people with me, blah, blah. I'm like, that's fine. Bring as many as you want. I will kill all of them, and then I'll kill you. He literally disappeared off the internet. He blocked me. He left the state, literally left the state, went to Georgia, fled to Georgia, burned up all the bridges down there, and then fled to Washington State, where he's currently trying to become a cult leader. Because he's going to school for psychology so he can become a better grifter. And then he's talking about trying to set up like a commune situation. What he actually trying to do is set up a sex cult where he can have multiple women, where he'll hand his foot, pay his bills, pay his child support, and everything else. And he doesn't want me anywhere near it. One of my girlfriends actually talked to him, and as soon as he mentioned the name, he walked away from her and never talked to her ever again.
Oh,
The man
wow.
shook. The man is shook because he know I am fucking batshit fucking crazy with absolutely nothing to lose. So he's like, nope.
You
He used to
see,
be a
you just said you're Bushido. You know what? Right next to me, like I'm also very educated in the art of Asian warfare because I read this. The Art of
uh,
War by Sun Tzu.
I
I read
discovered
that.
I discovered that book from the movie Ghost Dog. If you
Mm-hmm.
remember that movie. I was fascinated with it. My mom was terrified. She's like, oh God, he's discovered he can be a black samurai hitman. God help us. Yeah, I was inspired by so many films today. I watched Goodfellas one too many times. I actually set up a fencing operation out of my school. I went to school
That's
wearing suits,
awesome.
and I had a bunch of little minions going out stealing stuff, and then I would then turn around, go to the pawn shop, right, and then literally fence the stuff off. And I would give them like a little percentage. I was eating at the local restaurant that was the big fancy one, or them all food, sitting there in the suit, organizing my minions accordingly. My mom started seeing me watching all these monster movies. She started seeing me wearing suits to school. She literally started, you're done. You're done. I know what you're doing. You're not setting up a criminal enterprise at your school. Stop watch. I know you're trying to become a monster. It's not going to happen. You need to stop. Whatever you're doing, I know how you think. You're like an evil genius. Stop. And I'm like, okay. Sorry. I was like, so I like disbanded the group and was on the straight and narrow because she's like, and she started watching what I was watching on television. She's like, okay, that's good. That's fine. Nothing can engage his mind in criminal intent. Okay. Here's some comic books. Here's some, let me if I flood him with like comic books and good guy, he'll be wanting to become a superhero, which basically happened. And I'm like, I want to be Tony Stark. I want to build an Iron Man machine. Shoot at 5. I was a little kid. Like I was watching Transformers big, right? And my mom had a Cutlass Supreme sitting in the yard doing nothing. I literally found my grandmother's blowtorch, right? Ran up to her and like, I'm gonna go outside and build a transformer. And she's like, hold up, hold up, hold up. Give me the blowtorch. We're not gonna do that right now. I might need that car. I'm like, oh, okay. But we'll talk about it. She did not discourage my creativity at all. She's like, we'll talk about it later and we'll see what we can do. And I'm like a kid, when I'm about to be like, la 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 la, watch TV. And every once in a while, I'm like, I need the blowtorch. And she's like, for what? I want to make the transformer. She's like, I'm still debating on what I'm going to do with it, but we'll get around to it. And then, because I did have a lot of money, I took notebook paper, right? Made robots out of it, pushed a little push pin thing that spread out, and I
Yeah,
made my own paper transformers. And
that's
she's like,
awesome.
and I'm so right. Since you won't give me the blowtorch, I made my own. And she's like, okay, I'm sorry for not letting you go make a transformer. But yeah, it was an off and on battle for like one transformer, like for a couple of years of like trying to convince me not to go outside and like deconstruct the car to make it transform because I didn't know any better. I'm like, they transform. I just gotta take a blowtorch, cut some stuff up, hook it up, and they'll transform. And she's like, huh. I even as a kid had blueprints. I took comic book characters and came up with like viable military applications for stuff. I literally had one inventor company. I told them like, and I broke it down scientifically. And I'm like in middle school, right? And I'm already talking about like astrophysics and kinetic energy and titanium, like different alloys that would be great for grappling lines for like Batman and like for rescue operations and whatnot. And the guy, I don't know, maybe he knew I was a kid, but for some reason, he didn't tell me any of this shit was stupid. And he's like, okay, all right, I'm gonna send you some paperwork in the mail, like write your stuff up, and we'll get back to you. He gave me no shade whatsoever to a middle schooler who's literally sitting in his room with notebooks trying to draw up like body armor and stuff because I was into like Image Comics, so everybody had like pouches and blades and pulse gun, and I was sitting up there like trying to figure out how to make this work. I even had a book at one time that literally described how to make like a bunch of like really nasty stuff, like sonic wave guns that like military use. Yeah, they're. I can't remember the book, but it's literally a book that literally tells you how to make a sonic gun. That literally would cause nausea, disorientation, the full nine, and then had a list of distributors to buy the electrical components from to construct the thing. And basically, you need like a rudimentary knowledge of electricity, of PCC boards, and soldering skills. And with a little bit of engineering and a couple of like scientific cases, they had all sorts of like badass, evil ass gun shit. I kept that book for years and years. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, just making like weird weapon.
I could do it. Well, the thing is like when I was 18, my dad got me a job on his Air Force base, and you know what I was doing?
What?
I was soldering electrical boards. So I have actual military experience. It was civilian contract, but still, it's still military experience soldering electrical boards. So I could help you build your.
Oh no, I'm completely past that stage. The wife would never approve or even. You see the thing, my wife knows that I'm like 2 steps away from becoming Doctor Doom. So she's like, no, just no.
No.
We're not doing that. We're not having, like, I even had a plan how to take over the African continent, right? And make my own version of Wakanda. And I told her, she's like, you're evil as shit. We're not leaving the country. You're not going to become a warlord. Because, see, my solution was I was going to go to Africa, right? I was going to be a vicious warlord, but all of my people would be well fed, taken care of, no gunpowder in the food, none of that stuff, just overall. And then I would just slowly spread throughout the continent and then like shut it down once I get to the right mineral deposits and whatnot and just put it on lockdown. And then I would call it Wakanda and then just be chilling like Black Panther, and everybody gives us any shit. My people will be having my back, everything be grand. She's like, what, do you just sit around coming up with scenarios on how to take over the fucking world? I'm like, don't you? She's like, this is why you need your medication. Okay, this is why you need to take your pill. You have too much time to be in your own head coming up with crazy shit. And I'm like, why do you think I do role-playing games? It allows me to become an evil, maniacal warlord with no repercussions. And I have like banana boxes full of role-playing books. Like I've collected over the years is like ridiculous amounts of stuff. And then my OneDrive is even worse. So like, yeah, it's just, I'm a complete Omega nerd. I play PC games. I build Warhammer figures. Gundam figures. The list goes on and on. I'll send you a picture of it sometime, but I have like a whole gaming hobby workstation at my place where I just sit around and build. When I do have the motivation, where I just build stuff and put stuff together and
That's
do
awesome.
my hobby geek stuff. And like even at my friend's place, I have my gaming laptop, my Switch, the PS4 is set up right there,
Yas.
and the gaming monitor that I use. And my friend gave me a set of headsets for. I even got old tech. Like some people might recognize this, you might. But you remember back in the day when they had Z boards?
Yes. That's awesome.
Now the only problem is it doesn't work with when the regular keyboard part works, but like the short key section doesn't. But this is still part of like gaming history, so it's old tech. But yeah, I love this shit.
I do too. Like I have a bunch of old tech around me too, believe it or not. Well, yeah, you've probably seen it through Jason. Like he loves showing his old shit that he has. Like all the
Well,
old school games.
I guess that is now your new shit.
I guess well, yeah, I guess so.
It's
Like
called punitive. I'm gonna be a petty bitch. Now this is where I be my fabulous self. He touched your child. That's reparations. Guess what them are? His shit. Possession is 9/10 of the law. He ain't coming back in the house. You throw his clothes out in the backyard. By the way, make sure you piss on him and put some gasoline and set that shit ablaze and be like, oh yeah, all your shit's gone.
no, I ain't doing that to him. That I could kill
Yeah.
him.
This is why you don't have me look close by. Because, girl, we have been cleared out his shit. I've been outside pissing all over his shit. Then go outside with a thing of gasoline, take pictures, send it to his social media, say like, motherfucker, this is what you get for touching a child. You ain't shit, motherfucker. If you got a problem, meet me on the street. Blah, blah, blah. We can battle. I don't even know why he even did that. Did he forget there's a 300-pound plus black man that's a fanboy of you that's like itching to beat a motherfucker? Like, people are just stupid. Like, it boggles my mind how people just do not think, like, you gonna do this right, and you got all your shit at her house, and you touch her child? Motherfucker, do you think you gonna get anything back? You were saying, because I would have burnt his shit, kept all the shit that I did want, and burned everything fucking else.
You know the old Shannon back before I didn't get all the therapy and like I believed in revenge back then, I would have. But see,
Well, let's tap into
I've
that.
read The Art of War, and that's not how you do warfare.
Oh no, I'm vengeful. Okay, I'm the devil on your shoulder saying you to do evil shit. Do it, girl. Do it. Do it, girl. Do it. Burn his shit. Keep
No.
the shit and be done. And do a little happy dance while you're outside. Like, be Angela Bassett. That's all I got to tell you. Be Angela Bassett. Think you're Angela Bassett and do what she would do. Angela Bassett would set his shit on fire.
Jeez, man. No, I hate it. Like, no.
Let's take a poll in the chat. Does anyone think it's wrong after what he done to her child to set his shit ablaze? Let's take a poll from the audience.
Oh my God. God, you're crazy, dude. You made the right choice because then both of you would be in jail. Exactly, dude. I got to take care of my sons. I was like, okay.
Well, if I didn't know all these motherfuckers was doing screen recording right there, I'd be like, you had a break in.
Well, the dude is obviously like having a psychotic break going on right now. Like I could have like.
Okay, this is my problem with the whole psychotic break thing, right? You have a psychotic break, you throw his shit across the room, and no offense to you, he should have came after you. But what did he do? He went through the one thing that was precious to you and proceeded to beat the hell out of it. That was planned. There was no psychotic break. That was somebody being an asshole. That's someone that is abusive, toxic, and fucked up. And the only reason why he's still breathing air right now, and I'm not on a plane flying out to wherever the hell you are to go whoop his ass when he get out of jail, is because you said no. If you like, sure, I could call. I have done this before. That's the funny thing. When my exes have called me, I'm telling me this guy's trying to kill me, blah blah blah. I flew out to my area, set up shop, and then he said he's going to drive the car through the thing. I hired a mercenary. This is the level of connection I had. I hired a fucking merc. He came out there with a AR-15, a Ruger, and a 1911. I insured his car for increased property damage in case he rammed the house. Homeboy did come by. He saw the tip of the AR-15 and jetted. Then he showed up at her job. I saw him. We had a car chase, like Hollywood-style car chase.
Jesus.
I couldn't get around the corner because I was on her car. I couldn't whip around the corner fast enough to get, do the fishtail and go keep going. I'm like, this is her car. She got to get to work. I'm not going to be that crazy, right? If it was a rental, I wouldn't give a shit. So I go back. The cops are like, well, we can't do anything. I'm like, I'm done. I know where he lives at. I'm going to take care of this right now. I'm driving through right to the area where he lives. I start seeing one police car, another police car, another police car. I finally get to his house. By the time I got to this, there was 5 police cars I passed.
Jesus.
There was 3 officers sitting outside of his house. And when I pulled up, I'm like, yeah, so what's going on? We're waiting here for you. I'm like, and I made a joke that there was a black police. I was like, well, at least I ain't got to worry about getting shot 37 times. They all laughed. I told them what happened. I told them, like, yeah, that's his car. They offered me a fucking job at the police department. Like, no shit. They offered me a job. Another police officer, another sheriff referred to me as a bounty hunter. Another one referred to me as a merc. I lived every man's dream during that period of time. I had a car chase. I hired mercenaries. It was like my own personal video game came to
You
life.
are an evil overlord. Jesus.
I
God.
have made it my point in life to have a network of people that I could call upon to handle things out of my purview of skills, which says a lot. So I don't like guns. I'm not a gun person, but I know people that do. And they're well armed, with body armor, and I have funds occasionally. And I will spend said funds to protect the people I care about. So yes, I did hire a mercenary for 2 days to guard my friend's house.
I don't blame you. I don't blame
So,
you. So now he's
but
scared off his butt. He went
oh
away.
yeah, he went away. I put this one. My wife was to the point like, by the way, take your passport. I'm like, oh, it's like that. I'm not saying that you should, but if you have to. So I called a couple of friends overseas, had some arrangements made for a place to stay, and then I was going to take care of the rest of involving documents and everything else. I choose to use my powers for good and not evil. Because I was evil. Yeah. You think John Wick is bad. You ain't seen shit yet.
Nah,
But
don't
yeah.
hire anyone for my behalf, dude. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I You just need to let him know that you have a friend that has a network of people and a set of skills that you don't want to mess with. Now, I might be broken for right now, but I can get my fat ass up and have enough adrenaline to take care of anybody's shit. Because I only need about 5 to 10 minutes of time, if that. Because I'm too old to be like trying to like box people, punch people. No, I'm just gonna break your shit. I'm gonna break your ankles, your kneecaps, your elbows, your shoulders, a couple of ribs, and going about my business. I got beat up way too much as a kid. So what? So unlike most people who be like, okay, I'm just gonna run away from the bully. I'm like, I came up with a plan. My plan. So the plan was, I was going to learn as much martial arts and techniques to deal with people. And This whole time I've been alive, 42 years, all I've done is study different martial arts and different parts of the anatomy for the sole purpose of taking a motherfucker out. And my friends, all my friends know this. All of them. And they never let, it's literally like having the Incredible Hulk on standby, and I never get the Hulk out. It's just like, nope. Jive's upset. We got to ship him off somewhere. Like right now, I'm at a friend's house because I had a 2-ton jack stolen, my jack stand stolen out of the garage where I'm staying at because the roommates decided to leave the garage door open all the damn time. And somebody saw my stuff and decided to steal it. And I literally lost my mind. I was screaming. She's like, I'm a single parent. I'm like, I don't give a shit. That don't excuse this bullshit. And I went off. I punched my own car. There's a dent in my car. And my wife come out right. She's like, you put a dent in your car. I'm like, of all the things I'm going to worry about, the dent in the car is the last thing. So I'm going to send him off somewhere because none of y'all, two things going to happen. He's either going to take care of himself or he going to take care of all of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So to save your lives, I am going to send him to his friend's house. And my friends saw my post on Facebook and like, yeah, I got to go get you because you about ready to take everybody out. Like, there's a protocol to how to deal with me. There's even a committee, and this is the funny part. And it's ongoing, but there's literally a committee to decide when to let me loose upon the world. And there's they're all women. Every last one of them. There's no man's on the committee. All women.
Lord, dude. Hey, I wish you luck in, you being Pinky and taking over the world.
Oh no, I just want a
Pinky
job.
and the brain. What are you doing today? Trying to figure out how to take over the world. Well, you want to take over Africa. Like with your mineral deposit stuff, are you going to stop all the white people from exploiting all the minerals in Africa?
Oh, hell yes. It is like if people follow world politics and just the atrocities and whatnot, Africa is literally having a war right now over a certain mineral. I can't remember which one it was, but it's basically in all of your cell phones, computers, everything. Like, people don't know this.
It's in the Congo.
Yeah, it's in the Congo. Literally, there is so many different mineral deposits in Africa. And the funny thing is, and I thought about this, the reason why they keep that nation divided like it does, because if that nation came together, unilaterally, and became one solidified state and got rid of all the BS, they would be unstoppable. And that's the thing I find funny. If they became a nuclear power tomorrow, no one could mess with them because they control all the precious minerals, pretty much. A lot of the jewelry and diamonds that you get a lot of time comes out of Africa. It got so bad rappers were telling other rappers not to buy the diamonds because a lot of the time they wind up being blood diamonds.
Yep.
And there's like little kids out there digging up diamonds and pits and everything else because like everything from your jewelry to your cell phone components, a lot of it comes out of Africa, raw materials out of Africa.
Yep.
And it's just horrendous. And yeah, if Africa became a unified country overall and got rid of all the BS and everything else, that's why there were so many different colonizations from the French to the Dutch to everybody else, because it was a gold mine of stuff. Mm-hmm. Literally.
Mm-hmm. And they're just completely raping the land. Just raping it.
And if people look at if people actually look how people get a mistaken view of how big Africa is. Africa on the map looks like it looks pretty big, but it looks like it's about the same size. No, it dwarfs the United States on landmass. They have every raw material that you can think of, and every nation that we know today, in the beginning, was at some point attached to Africa in some shape or form. Mm-hmm. And then over time and erosion, they split off. But literally, everything at 1.0 was connected to Africa. So, of course, that is going to be the main land mass of all your precious minerals and everything else. And it's just like, it's just ridiculous.
I agree. I was like reading about what's happened in Congo and the genocide that's going on right now because of the freaking mineral deposits. And I'm like, I'm looking at that and I'm like, if that country actually came together and stopped this genocide stuff, they'd be making bank, dude. They'd be
And it's
making
funny,
bank.
hey, you know how we can interfere in Ukraine, right? But nobody at all says anything about Africa. And I heard one journalist, and it sums up what Americans think overall in Africa. Journalist said when there was that attack in Paris where that guy shot a bunch of people, like, and a similar event happened in Kenya, and there was no news coverage. Um, his exact word, well, they're one of our allies, and we don't really have that type of relationship with Africa. And I'm like, relationship with Africa? Yet your country was built from taking people set from country. You're still mining the crap out of it and everything else. And the United States still sending people over there to do different military actions and whatnot. Like it's fairly disgusting. And the funny thing is, thanks to TikTok, a lot of Africans have been basically getting rid of the misinformation about how that country really is, and the fact that Africans welcome people, African Americans, because a lot of African Americans think they're not welcome there. They really do.
Mhm.
And there are people, what people don't know, there are several countries with open to African American citizenship on
Mhm.
site. On
Oh
site.
wow.
If you show up in said country, they will set you up with your papers. If you need a loan or anything to set up a business and what have you, you will be welcome there with full open arms. I've talked to my wife about it. The only thing that she is worried about is the level of heat due to her health conditions. But for real, they are fed. They have seen so much carnage in the United States that they're literally like, if you want to come back home, come home. Ain't
Mhm.
nobody gonna give you any issue or any shade. You are
Yeah.
still considered to be brothers and sisters of Africa. And I seen grown men crying on TikTok
Oh.
after being told that they were like not, being cast aside. But the media has made it so hard for any information to come out that isn't negative about that country, you know, almost impossible. And the same thing over there. They do so much misinformation between the two that if black people united overall and got over that BS and got over this social construct, which is known as race, we don't have any problems. Because everybody's talking about, I'm red, I'm blue, this, that, and that. Your politicians, and I'm going to say this loud and clear for everyone to hear from the back seats. Your politicians do not care about you. You can vote blue, you can vote red. They're all getting super PAC money from corporations who get them paid. And based upon how much contribution money they get, that's how their policies are made. They're not made. Some of them do stuff for them, but it's kind of like the French giving out pieces of bread and telling them let them have cake. That's
Mhm.
basically where we're at this point. If everybody got together and found common ground, red and blue, Trump supporters and non, everybody know. Because let's be honest, Trump in a lot of ways was a giant asshole, but every politician is. Biden has flipped. Okay, I'll give you promise. There is news coverage of him, and they say, well, it's a decade ago. If people have that thought process a decade ago, it's very rarely do they change their position. So he said a year that marriage is between a man and a woman. Now he's like, I support my transgender people and the LGBTQ. You are welcome here. And it's all pandering. He's basically, the Democrats have done the same thing they always done. They pander to the other side of the marginalized and minorities to keep the voting for them. And they'll throw out tidbits of stuff too that to make them feel bad about themselves. But in general, it's all about the corporations. The last tax cut, all for the rich, not for anybody else.
Amen.
Everybody paying out more taxes because they gave a bunch of tax cuts. Then they did the whole loan thing for COVID. Corporations ate all that up, and very few, if any, small businesses got that money. And they said, like, well, we're investigating it.
No, you're
They've
not.
already they've already spent the money, and those who were smart enough to know that they're about to get got has already got their money, got their passport, and gone to, like, Switzerland, the Caribbean, some not extraditional state where they can live out the rest of their days with no problem.
Yep. It's so messed up. It's so messed up what's going on in this world and in this country. And people seem to, like, especially, the African American community, they seem to forget about Democrats. They were the ones who promised you reparations and didn't go through it.
It actually was reversed for a while. It was the Republicans who initially decided to enact the 14th Amendment, did a lot of civil rights, and at some point, I don't know when, because I never really bought it, switched to being that the minorities primarily voted for Democrats. And the greatest example of knowing how the Democrats really think of us is Charlemagne the God. He's a radio announcer on a radio station, very popular guy. And he was talking to Joe Biden about some issues, and Joe Biden's like, "Oh, I gotta go." And like,
Hmm.
you can't do the black community like this. And he literally looked at the camera, and you can find this on YouTube. This is not like conspiracy stuff. And
Hmm.
he literally said, "If you do not vote for me, you're not black."
Yeah. You want to see racism? Look at Joe Biden. Like, he actually openly in Congress said the N-word too. Like, openly in Congress several times.
They used to do that all the time because it was in the third person, and then doing the OJ trial, which is kind of funny. The black prosecutor, instead of saying the full word, he said the N word, and based upon what he said as a black man, it caught on like wildfire. So media, everybody start referring to that racial slur as the N word. That was one of the benefits from the OJ trial. It literally changed the landscape of media on using that slur in public. Because before that, senators, politicians, everybody would just say the word with no, because it was in the third person. Say what they weren't saying, it was what someone else had said, and everything else. And after during that trial, the guy refused to actually say the word in court because he thought it was just repugnant to even say aloud. He changed the narrative for everything.
Yeah, it wasn't only like politicians, it was Hollywood too. Like, I was watching Melrose Place, and they even dropped the N-word then, and it was like 95, 96. I was shocked. Like, I'm like, what? I watch like a lot of old movies because I'm just like that, and they're dropping the gay slur, the F word, and they dropped the N word all the time. And I'm like, no wonder people used all these types of slurs. No wonder I used that slur, because, like, I was programmed to think it's okay to say that stuff because you saw it in Hollywood. And it caused a lot of division between the races because of Hollywood. And it caused a lot of divisions between, the homosexuals and bisexuals and trans, because it used to be popular back in the 90s to make fun of gay people, to make fun of people who are like men who wear, female clothing and stuff. They used to make it into a joke. Hollywood.
And
So they wonder
Hollywood
where
used
all these issues come from. Look at your media. Look at your politicians. You were programmed
the
to feel this way. It's a social construct. It isn't real.
and the thing is, a lot of people don't get that. If you look at who owns the media companies, and then you trace them media companies, they all tie back to one side of the political line. So a lot of money from CBNC, MSBC, and all CNN, a lot of that money gets funneled to the Democratic side.
Yup.
And Fox News, you'll see a lot of Fox Media contribution goes to the Republican side.
Yeah.
The NRA is pretty much in league with the gun manufacturers, so they lobby for anything that will that make sure that their bottom line is not affected. So, for example, the only time the NRA has ever agreed to um, gun regulation and the first assault weapons ban, you know why they did it? It
Hmm.
was because of Ronald Reagan in California when he was governor, and the Black Panthers was marching the streets with AK-47s and a crap load of guns, and they got scared and they wanted the weapons banned. So they turned around and made a weapons ban that the NRA helped write up and get passed. That's the only time the NRA has ever lobbied for any type of ban. And the funny thing is, people are all crying over Uvalde and Sandy Hook. The funny thing is, when all this was going down in Detroit, Chicago, Compton, where kids were getting killed in the street on a daily basis because of gang violence, it made the news a couple of times, but it wasn't like nobody really, there was never a public outrage, a public outcry and whatnot until really Columbine, because a bunch of white kids got killed. Let's be honest. They lost their mind. And instead of making it local news, what they normally do, we all remember, if there was a shooting at a school or a public area, it was only covered by local media. It was never national news. Columbine started a cancer in society that's showing that if you kill a lot of people in public, you will get on the news and you will become famous. And every shooter has been basically copying the same method of becoming infamous. Every single one. Because they
Yep.
all know that if they do enough damage, they'll be on national news and become infamous. And if they do go to prisons, and if they join up with the Aryan nations in there, they're gonna be treated like a guy in prison. Like it really doesn't make any sense. And the media doesn't get it that if you stop broadcasting these events on a public stage in general and kept it local where no one knows what happened short of the internet, you wouldn't hear about these. The shootings would go down. The media hypes this up too much, and they're still covering it today. So the next shooter is seeing, but yeah, my life sucks. Everything about my existence is like, but if I do this one act, I'll be, people will know me forever,
Yep. Yep.
and that's what's going down. And
Yep.
my political views are way, at times people say it is far more advanced than they ever thought of. Like I told them, like Roe versus Wade, the abortion thing. See that there's more to that than people think. If they remove Roe versus Wade and that gets abolished, that means that the 14th Amendment is now vulnerable. What people don't know, the 14th Amendment is the thing that gave black people citizenship and got abolished slavery. But there's a caveat. The 13th Amendment says that slavery is still allowed if you commit a crime. So check this out, right? So let's say you don't pay your bills on time and they go decide to get rid of that. Let's say you don't pay your bills on time. Now you got to work at an Amazon warehouse for 60, 80, 120 hours to work off your debt because you committed a crime because you haven't paid your bills, or you get a traffic ticket. Community service is literally the 13th Amendment at work. You do work for someone for free, but if they get rid of the 14th Amendment altogether, slavery can be made into community service, and the ditch of servitude can come back into play on a fast and wider scale. There's one senator right now that's trying to turn over the Lovett case, which basically made it illegal to marry someone of another ethnicity. So biracial marriages could be in jeopardy and be considered to be unconstitutional. So everything is up for grabs, and both sides are still arguing like fucking school children and don't know that if all of this passes, Roe versus Wade don't affect women. It affects everybody.
Everyone. Yep.
Everybody can be put on bait. Because once they remove that right, they can go through the Constitution and start picking and choosing what they don't want. Corporations can now the Supreme Court has ruled that campaign contributions cannot be
Hmm.
regulated as a form of freedom of speech. Do you know that corporations can spend billions or millions of dollars on whatever senator to get their particular policies pulled, which means if one company decides they want a bunch of free workers, they can try to get the 14th Amendment completely removed.
Yep.
Re-ratified the 13th Amendment, saying that slavery is admissible if you have committed a crime or have outstanding debts.
Yep. Or even attack the First Amendment, because they're already trying to attack the Second Amendment, and they've done pretty
Second,
good at that. You
and
know.
the thing is, everybody's like a tyrannical government, and people like, there's no tyrannical government. I'm like, what do you call that when you can go back and find millions, if not billions, of dollars spent on lobbying from major corporations to get what they want?
Hmm.
The only time that they care about stuff when it was messing with the political process, like Facebook. Facebook was pushing their political views onto the general public and vilifying conservatives while boosting Democrats. And then it came out that Facebook was deliberately causing division amongst the masses. And I've seen it for myself. I've seen people literally in friendships over 20 plus years over whether or not they voted for Trump or not. And I'm like, did you not look at the alternative, what you had at the time? You had Hillary Clinton literally say, I'd say one thing to my constituents, but I say another thing to you people here, the corporations. When they found out she was that level of two-faced, nobody wanted to vote for that bitch. Nobody wanted to deal with her.
Mm-mm.
And the Democrats keeps on trying to shove her down our throats periodically as a potential nominee. Now, of course, she'll never get elected now because she's done too much damage to herself. So it'll be Harris will be the way it probably will work out if they can get things back in line. It'll be Biden for next 8 years, followed by um, followed probably by Harris, so she can be the first female Black Asian woman in America. And then after that, there, depending on who she picks as her next nominee, and it'll just go down the line from there. Um, because it's literally ridiculous. If I was a Native American community, I'd be trying to whittle my way into the politicians and just wait for their opportunity to seize power and just kick everybody out
Hmm.
and
I do too.
and take their shit back. I think the only ones that they probably would not say. I think the ones they would give money to, and I'm not trying to be racist here. They'll give money to the Latinos and the blacks so they can get to where they need to. They'll put sanctions against Mexico based upon the fact of how their politician has basically kept their country impoverished. Because, like, people don't understand the reason why all these illegals are coming over here because they're making $4.50 an hour and they can't survive. And the corporations that are from the United States are still paying out that same money because NAFTA then put in there that the benefits and the pay rate, if they leave the country, will be the same in Mexico. That's why so much stuff is done in other countries because they're all doing a form of financial indenture to everyone across the world with these building things out of the country. China's environment has gone to crap. The first time anyone been able to see China was during the lockdown during COVID. You could actually see China from space because all the smog in space, because everything was shut down. That
Yep.
says a lot.
Hmm. Like, and the only reason why corporations have so much power now is they actually have changed the Constitution, and corporations are considered people. Like, how the fuck
Yeah,
do you consider a business a person?
because contributions is the main thing the politicians are worried about. Realistically, is the reason why they're pushing the Roe versus Wade narrative is because some of the politicians have discovered that the minority of the United States will be mixed at some point overall, and no one will be, and the ones that are strictly white will become the minority, and they're terrified. That's why they was doing so much for a while, political, racial politics. I forgot what the exact word was, but
Yeah.
they were pushing that there's a lack of white babies in the country, and this, that, and the third, and everything else. And then you find out that, like in Canada and North America, they're literally going around doing hysterectomies on Native American women and Black women and um, Latino women left and right without their knowledge. And this is done by government agencies. And none of this is like made up. Like all this you can find in the news on a regular basis from CNN, like major media places has covered this. Has anybody wondered why there's nothing came up from the Epstein case or that
Yeah.
other chick that was involved? That there's I watched a documentary about this guy. This guy had in every single house, and I'm an IT guy. In every single house, he had cameras, computers, and recording equipment in
Hmm.
every single house. And you're telling me that no one has been able to identify these powerful people who went to the Epstein Island, even though there's records of everyone from powerful attorneys, politicians from both sides, both Trump and Clinton, all got on this thing.
Yep.
Now nobody's going to talk about the Clintons because every time you talk bad about the Clintons, somebody disappears and wind up in the dish. So the Clintons
Yep.
are watching. I ain't talking shit. I'm just stating facts. I ain't trying to start nothing. I'm a nobody, so don't come for me. But yeah,
Hmm.
and it's funny. Like the Clintons is like the modern day JFK family. If you fuck up, you will disappear. Because originally, the Kennedys were kind of like had a relationship with the mob. Like they were at during Prohibition, and how they got a lot of their money was through bootlegging.
Yep. Yep.
And most people don't know that. Like
Yeah.
criminals have been in our government for so long, it's not even funny. Now,
Yeah.
Kennedy was pretty much a good, and like he was a Republican, but if you look at a lot of stuff he did, he would have been a Democrat at this point. Like the
Yeah.
political landscape has changed so much, it's not even funny. And a lot of the problems we have, even though I thought Reagan was cool, but after figuring out all the stuff Reagan did, this is why we're in the state we're in, because he deregulated banks, he took less stuff, made corporate have more latitude, and they're where they're at now. And the reason why the Republicans are so powerful because they're well organized, and the Democrats do way too much infighting amongst themselves to get anything done.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like we
And
have a full Democratic Senate and Congress, and they can't get hardly anything passed because of filibusters and people in their thing being bought off by big pharma or some other organization, and they vote against the bill.
exactly. Exactly. And like we need to get rid of all of them. All of them. Vote every single old politician out and just start anew. I don't care how much you like them. Vote them out. Get them out. Start
See,
with new people. We need that. We don't need these people who are bought by these freaking companies.
unfortunately, it's too late because if you look at how politics work, they do zoning of areas, right? So the thing that Schwarzenegger talked about one time was gerrymandering, which he thought was just a horrendous method. But they would go into a state and they would remap the different districts accordingly. Like even in the area I'm at, my friends are independents, but when it comes to elections, they're not allowed to vote. Like voter suppression is real. Gerrymandering ensures that they get the constituents that they want to vote for their side, and depending if you're a red or blue state, they gerrymander enough to make it work for their particular side or for the other side. So if every state is doing some form of gerrymandering, nothing
Hmm.
is going to wind up changing. Every once in a while, there's like in the last election, Georgia was normally red and they flipped blue, but it was because Trump talked so much BS and pissed so many of the minorities off in Georgia that they turned blue,
Yeah.
and so did a lot of other states that normally would vote red turned blue because they were fed up with his level of stupidity. People are only going to put up with so much craziness. But the funny thing was, when he got screwed over by the Republicans, he let all their business out. And he literally sat up there and told, did you know that your money is going to this country and that country and this country, but they can't pay you enough money to survive with a stimulus check?
Oh, the
Like he
stimulus check pissed me off. $3,000 for 2 years. It's been going on now. It's almost three now.
and the funny thing is that other countries like Japan, the UK, they all came up with subsidies programs that basically kept people with basically universal income for everybody to have enough money to survive and buy food and everything else. And the funny thing is, the United States could have people like socialism is bad. It's going to ruin this country. But then you got countries like New Zealand, Switzerland, then a lot of socialistic countries that are doing just fine. There, Norway, they pay their McDonald's employees $23 an hour with benefits.
Hmm.
So you're telling me, and then when the government screwed up, they marched, kicked everybody out, arrested the bankers for causing the incident, and started anew. Like they don't play.
Mm-mm, they don't.
The United States is known for two things: having the most people incarcerated in the world, and having the hugest military budget, and having a military presence in pretty much every country in the world. Like every place that you can think of has some type of military U.S. presence for one reason or another. And meanwhile, we can't even deal with the homelessness in our own country. Rent housing has gotten to a point where corporations are buying up single family homes as a investment and jacking up the rent prices for like they're renting out like basically laundry rooms for like close to $1,000.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And then they're wondering, why aren't we getting paid like we used to? Why is everyone so poor? Because you're not allowing them to live. And you wonder why everyone's quitting, why the great resignation is happening. It's because you're not paying them enough while you're sitting there on billions, maybe trillions of dollars within your company.
Like the whole thing with gas. I mean, the government has already reported, and the companies came back and said, "Well, we speak for our stockholders, and they're fine with the current level of gas prices. We're not going to do anything because we're not uphold to you. We're a private corporation. This, that, and the third." And and people say like Biden can't do anything because of that. Biden could literally put sanctions on all the gas companies with the executive order. Even through wartime, companies were taken over to produce, you know, tanks and airplanes and everything else. There's no real reason, if they really wanted to, that they could not do it again and be taking companies over by eminent domain and run the gas companies for a period of time until the gas was back to being normalized. But they're getting to a point where it's going to be $10 a gallon for gas, and they're going to find out quick because people overall are going to be fed up, and they're just going to be like, "We're done." They'll be marching on gas companies and everything else and tell them to go kill them. Because right now, people are throwing out people gas tanks for gas.
Yep, they are, and it's
One of
crime is
your
going up, everything is going up, dude. Because of this stuff, because they could fix this problem, but they're choosing not to fix this problem. And now they're like, I think, honestly, they're like purposely causing these food shortages that are going on right now. Because
as
sorry.
one of your audience members wants to know what happened to Rev. I will let you tell that story.
Well, he ended up having a psychotic episode, and ended up kicking my son in the head and stomach a few times, and he got arrested, and he's in jail right now. And he's. I gotta
Sound
fucking.
like you got a phone call.
Yeah, I'll take off. Okay, I
All
gotta
right, later.
take this. All right, bye.
Bye.